against Please Sponsor Us, Rubcup, Beanslayer, Sam I Am, and Merc Minds X. If you want Cloud9 to win, make sure you spam C9 in chat. If you want Please Sponsor Us to win, that's kind of a long name to spam. Maybe just spam BSX. That's pretty easy to spam.
PSU.
PSU.
PSU BSX.
PSU BSX BSX. Alright guys, we're going to be jumping into the games very shortly. Thank you guys for coming and tuning in. Really do appreciate all the love and support. We've been getting so many new subs, and it's a real pleasure to have you guys all here and part of the team. And we're going to be jumping into the action very, very shortly, everybody. Just so everyone knows, this is the upper bracket. These are the teams that actually made it and won. Cloud9 being seeded #1 in this entire tournament. Definitely the favorite going into us, but Please Sponsor Us have proven time and time again that they can play with the big boys and that they need a sponsor. Let's just get real. Method Black versus Donut as well is coming up after that. And if you guys don't know who Method Black is, it's Chanimals, it's I was about to say Majidin. It's Rosita Jones, it's Asper, it's Floria. It's that Mage Boomkin Holy Paladin composition going up against Donut, the king of the cleaves.
King of the cleaves.
You like that?
We will see.
Maybe I should start rapping. I'm not gonna rap in GCDTV. I feel like that.
Rap God.
All
I
of
mean,
C9.
you already got Nonish in the Hodge. That's like your go-to.
Dude, that's my go-to. I love that. And they kept doing it too. Who won the giveaway? That would be the prize. LOL. Alright, here we go. Q has popped, and we're going to be jumping into the game very, very shortly. It's Cloud9 versus Please Sponsor Us on the Grand Arena. And as we see, Beanslayer has entered the arena with Rubcub. Oh, baby, Cloud9 coming in hot with that #1 spot of the LSD composition. Oh, what? And then we have a Priest. What are these comps coming out from these two teams, man?
I think they both expected to mind game each other, so Please Sponsor Us, I would technically won the mind game, because
Yeah.
Mage Paladin into this would not be what they wanted.
Right.
At the same time, Feral Shadow Priest, I think, is still going to have a bit of a hard time. They need to set up these like perfect one-shot chains, probably on the Cubsy. Maybe later in the game they can switch to different targets, but I think it's going to be still pretty hard for Please Sponsor Us. Despite that, I think they're probably happy that they didn't run with the Mage in game #1 against us.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them pull out this composition and do quite well with it. But is this the composition that they need to be able to beat LSD? I don't know. I mean, we've seen Cloud9 in the past with this LSD become downright unkillable. But maybe Feral Shadow Priest is that team that they need. They need that setup pressure. Here we go,
I still
Beanslayer.
think it's going to be hard. I mean, Beanslayer's trying to run and get something done, but he actually got pulled out of stealth from the Earthquake, so he's not going to get that Savage Roar. Actually had to waste combo points on getting it, so he's going to lose a bit of damage early on. Merc Minds is still getting punished. Triple Shadow Fury out from Gareki, and this damage is starting to mount up. Rubcub looking for the Hodge over onto Cubsy. I'm curious who they're going to output the damage on. They're just not doing any damage right now. Cubsy's going to sit through that full Hodge. Dark Soul still rolling for Gareki. Rubcub trying to heal through it, doing a good job so far. Hadn't actually traded any cooldowns. Kind of an awkward start to game #1. I mean, one Dark Soul down. Technically, Please Sponsor Us are ahead.
Technically, man. But here we go. Horrify on the Cubsy just for the CC. Denounces Bash even going in onto Businessman X. Cubsy actually getting out of the next CC very, very quickly. I'm not sure what broke him out of that. The Bash getting bopped out onto Merc Minds. Rubcub's keeping his team as offensive as possible. And Businessman looks like he's in a bit of trouble. Getting cloned up at 30% health here. Cubsy actually going into stealth to try to avoid the next CC chain that's going to be coming out. And another clone goes out onto Businessman. And not a single hot was caught that day. Full Hodge goes out onto Cubsy. And I think he Nature Swiftness into the clone, man. His Nature Swiftness is down, and Businessman actually he got interrupted. He has Iron Bark on him, but is it going to be enough? Horrify goes out onto Cubsy. Businessman with Shamanistic Rage and Iron Bark on him. Looks like he's going to stabilize for now, but that was a lot of buttons that Please Sponsor Us has forced.
Still Incarn. Still Incarn. No Sham Rage, no Iron Bark, still Incarn. So BSX he needs to bring the heat here shortly. Double Shadow Fury out from Gareki, trying to get some dots out here. Keeping the 10 stacks on the whole team at the moment. But with no Sham Rage and no Iron Bark, Wealthy Man has to be careful. Silence over onto Cubsy. This could be it. Incarnation King of the Jungle. BSX is the king, and Businessman is Peon right now is getting destroyed. He's trying to recover with no cooldowns. Heart of the Wild out for Cubsy. Stun over on the Cubsy now. Businessman X is still just taking it, trying to heal himself back up. He is going to recover as they swap actually over on the Cubsy. He's going to Barskin right away. Will the Barskin be enough? Denounce is following up. Bash over on a Beanslayer with no trinket. Cubsy may be looking for a clone out of that. Actually choosing not to. Just going to be healing his team back up. Rubcub getting swapped over to forced to bubble actually. Cubsy getting cloned up, but Shaman Rage is available, and Wealthy Man is going to survive that swap despite overlapping quite a few cooldowns. He should be able to survive. I mean, he's got Shaman Rage available. He's trying to hold on to it. Shaman Raging down to 30%. Cubsy has a nest up. He's going to connect it this time. Merkmine's feeling the heat down at 25%, pushing forward, trying to get out of the line of sight and pick himself back up. Doing a good job so far. But Rubcub's running out of cooldowns, and I think his team is running out of time.
They really are, but man, their pressure is there, it would seem. But Cubsy and Businessman doing a good job keeping their head steady and not overlapping too much. Besides that Shaman Rage and Ironbark before, now Cubsy has that Ironbark available to him, but he does not have a trinket. This might be the setup. Horrify onto Businessman, Hodge on the Cubsy. If they have anything to follow it up without, there's the full silence out of that. Ironbark was not used just yet, and Businessman still taking a whole bunch of pressure as well. But he does have a lot of those hots, but they're gonna fade here as Cubsy's put into the half fear. Still no trinket for 40 seconds, and Cubsy's gonna come out of that very, very shortly. But Merkmines, Beanslayer, and Rubcubs are all so low. Rubcub's getting interrupted. He's desperately trying to keep everyone alive. Merkmines has that disperse, but he's going to hold on to it for now. And it looks like Please Sponsor Us is just going to go ahead and pull behind the pillar and stabilize for now. Beanslayer jumping right back into it. And it seems like every single time they have their momentum, Cloud9's consistent pressure just knocks them back. Haunts connecting onto Beanslayer. Double Shadow Fury into full fear onto Rubcub. And the Massive Spell comes out from Merkmines, getting Rubcub out of that CC. But Beanslayer's still in a lot of trouble. He needs to get offensive very, very soon. He's got 1 minute left until Incarnation is back up. Maybe he can do something then.
Yeah, but they need to get those cooldowns baited out beforehand. The momentum's not looking too good for them right now. Avenging Wrath out from Rubcub, good fear out from Merkmines, and with the silence to cover the Tremor Totem. The Stone Form a little bit too late, not able to get the Tremor off. Cubs is going to have to sit through that full fear. They're still trying to look for that Ironbark, look for the Shaman Rage, but they're not going to get it. Cubs is able to freely heal. Rubcub actually getting locked out on his heal. Curious if Wealthy Man and Greki are going to push in here. Nice clone onto Greki, stopping a bit of damage, but Dark Soul's coming off CD. Ascendance is up for Wealthy Man. They have a lot of potential damage here. Merkmine, Beanslayer, and Rubcub just trying to line of sight. They don't have Avenging Wrath. They're waiting for Incarn, but I don't think they can kill through the cooldown. So playing it patient like this is playing for dampening, and I think that Cloud9 are going to take the edge if that's what their game plan is.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. And look at Rubcub's mana too. Maybe they can't even afford to even do that. Businessman getting attacked once again. Horrify on a Cubsy. Maybe they can follow it up with something else. Businessman still has that Shamanistic Rage available to him here. And Beanslayer taking a whole bunch of pressure as well, pushing up. Denounce is even going in as well as the silence. He could not Shamanistic Rage with the Nature Swiftness. Is going to top him right back up. Once again, Businessman looking okay through that last setup. Rubcub's mana though at 29% health here. He has Haunts connecting on him. He has to pull back, and once again, Please Sponsor Us is pushed on the defensive.
Yep, just hugging the pillar for now. Turtle all day, trying to line of sight the Dark Soul out from Gareki. Businessman trying to capitalize on something here, trying to keep his flame shocks up, keep his procs going. He's going to eat a full maim stun behind the pillar and possibly a clone. Good thunderstorm interrupting the clone. Beanslayer still looking for it. Wind shear comes out. Triple Shadow Fury from Gareki, loading up some full dots here. Earthquake coming down as well, and they're just getting PvE'd on right now. It's so much damage. Rubcub forced to Avenging Wrath. Now they need to do something with this Avenging Wrath. Beanslayer's going to jump over to Gareki. Full fear onto Cubsy with a full clone onto Businessman. They're actually going after Cubsy. But Beanslayer's just not able to connect. I mean, I guess they got the Barskin out of the way. They still have the silence. Incarnation actually getting popped regardless here. Holding on to that Berserk, though, and Beanslayer is going to get bashed up, so smart move to hold on to that Berserk. You'll be able to use it out of the stun, but really, what are they going to get done with it? Maybe they're just trying to Cubsy, but Rubcub's the one who's lower at this point. I feel like if they're going to play the mana game, they're playing for Cloud9's favor.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're just trying to figure out what strat they need to do. This is a hard matchup for them. They probably don't face it all that often. Haunts connecting on the Beanslayer. He's going to use that Berserk now and try to get aggressive, but it looks like he's just not getting anything done. Rubcub getting interrupted at 1%, and down he goes. Cloud9 sneaking that kill out at 8% dampening against Please Sponsor Us. And you have to think, what do you think these guys are going to do going into game number 2 against these guys?
Rubcub needs to change. He can't play Paladin into that.
Right.
He can't play Paladin. He needs to play something else. If he can play a Shaman, I think he should play a Shaman, but he can't play Paladin into that. It looks like a nightmare.
Absolutely. I mean, the Warlock on their team definitely makes it hard for a Paladin to heal through. I think that's like one of the big things Paladins struggle with. We're going to be jumping into game number 2 here and figure out what compositions these guys are going to be playing here. Please sponsor us. Definitely want to make their name known. And the best way I think to do it is taking out the #1 seeded team, Cloud9. Let's see. I'm also going to try something. I'm going to try to change Pandowski's name into Goreki. See if I can do that. Alright, we're gonna find out what maps they choose next. Oops. Okay, hopefully that'll work. No, it's not.
I mean, I've seen Rob play like a disc priest. I don't know if I've seen him play a shaman. But I don't know. I feel like if he just played Resto Shaman, then he might stand a better chance. Shaman deals with that kind of composition really well, and they definitely have kill potential with the Incarnation Stuns, Horrify, Silence, and not all DRing, so they can lock Cubsy down. They could even play for dampening with the Shaman instead, just removing a dodge setting. I don't know. Rupcub can't play Paladin. Like this is where teams need to start learning to adapt, because you can see Cloud9 are adapting, right?
Right.
They can't win with the Holy Paladin Shatter. They can't win with the RMD. So now they've got LSD on their roster to deal with it. And so this is where the teams need to say, well, you know what? We're either going to hit a wall here if we don't get more comps, or we need you to play more comps, and that's it, really. So
I like that. I like that. Well, like the point that you just made right there was that the teams that are a bit more versatile and have the tools to be able to avoid getting countered and stuff like that are gaining advantages. And I think that's kind of like the name of the game when it comes to WoW esports, is that these teams that have the ability to adapt, the teams that have the ability to be versatile, are gaining those advantages. And as you can see here, Cloud9 has been doing great. Ever since they picked up Goreki, they seem like very scary. But here we go. We're going to be jumping into the next game very, very shortly. And apparently they are still discussing a map choice. Sexy tease. Of course, it's for the Thrall.
But the Thrall is too nice.
Is he?
There's a limit of being too nice. It's the point where I think that he's evil.
It's all for naught. Alright guys, thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us here. Make sure to follow us on Twitter so you're notified at all the cool stuff that we're going to be doing in the future, like 1v1 All-Star tournaments at 200 subs, or even tournament number 4, and even the finals. Just a reminder guys, this is a Pro League tournament. All of these tournaments build up into a final tournament, and the teams that accumulate the top 8 GCD points that you earn from placing in these tournaments will be invited to a main tournament with a $2,000 prize pool. Each of these tournaments have a $500 prize pool, and that's all from donations as well as our sponsors is how we were able to accumulate that. So I really do appreciate all the love and all of the support. And as we get bigger and bigger, and as your support and we get more and more subscribers, we can start doing bigger and better things that we've already done so far. So really guys, thank you for the support. It's been an unbelievable ride. I can't wait
to see what they do. So they've got Merkmine, they've got Beamslayer, and they've got Sam IM. So Sam IM can play. No, what are they doing? Just play FLS. If they know they're fighting LSD. I don't even care if Rubcup's 2K on his Shaman. They should be able to win that thing.
I don't care.
Sam IM's good at lock. Sam IM's good at lock. Beanslayer can play Feral, and Rubcup should play Shaman. They should play FLS. If they know they're fighting LSD,
that's a double alt wombo combo, but I think that you're right. I think they need to learn to adapt, and here we go. Maybe they can do just that. The next map is going to be played out on Tiger's Peak. I'll see you guys in just one hot minute. Just one hot minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Please Sponsor Us versus Cloud9. Game number 2. Cloud9 sticking to their guns with the LSD. They feel like Please Sponsor Us just doesn't have an answer for it. And I don't think Please Sponsor Us does, as they're sticking with the same composition. And it looked downright hopeless last game. But maybe they changed their strategy up. Maybe we can see something different come out from Please Sponsor Us.
I really hope so. I mean, last game looked very grim for them. There was a clear opening, and they didn't get anything with it. I mean, Iron Bark and Shawn Rage overlap before Incarn. That should be like a free win situation, and they still couldn't get it. So, like, compositionally, I think they're going to struggle. They're moving in here, full stun, looking for a clone. He gets thunderstormed on the clone. He does get a skull bash onto the haunt, though, from Gorecki. Going to be stalling out his damage a little bit longer, but now he doesn't need to worry about that interrupt for the Dark Soul that is impending. Full fear over onto Rubcub. Triple stun out from Gorecki. Loading out full dots here. Gets that Soulburn haunt. Actually gets cloned up on it. Cubsy sitting through a fear. Businessman actually gated away out of range. Not able to tremor that full fear. Beatslayer building up full bleed. Seems like they are going to be pressuring Businessman throughout this. Dark Soul pop from Gorecki. Everyone rotting down here. Rubcub in full retreat here with Beanslayer and Merkmines, and they're always doing a good job just hugging the pillar as soon as Dark Soul gets popped. Cubsy moves forward, lands a full bash onto Rubcub, forces the trinket out. Rubcub still getting kind of just destroyed. It's hit by the light skin of proc. He's holding on to that Avenging Wrath as long as possible. Caught into a DR Shadow Fury. Still getting punished pretty hard here. Double fear onto the DPS. Silence on the Cubsy to deny any dispels. Good CC up from Please Sponsor Us, but they don't get any cooldowns with it.
Not even Barkskin, man. Like, it's such a short cooldown, and Cubsy could have just thrown it away, but he's even holding on to that. Cloud9 playing very, very frugal, looking to try to bring this game out a little bit longer, and man, they're definitely taking their advantage and running away with it, it would seem. Beanslayer trying to get some pressure going out onto Businessman X, but with Cubsy not in any CC just yet, it's looking like it's an uphill battle for sure for Please Sponsor Us. Wings are going to be fading for Rubcubs, and Demon Soul being used by Gorecki. Is going to be a lot of pressure for Rubcub to try to heal through on that Holy Paladin. Full fear landing onto Cubsy. Businessman taking a bit of pressure, but Cubsy's going to get out of that with a Tremor Totem from Businessman, and Cloud9's just going to go ahead and get back in it. Merkmine's being very, very scared right now. Rubcub's going to go ahead and bubble out of that, and that's a Disperse at the same time, as well as the Save by the Light overlap. That's a lot of buttons and a lot of defensives being forced out right away by Please Sponsor Us. And Cloud9, they got to be feeling so very safe moving forward into this game.
I mean, this is like 3 kids in a ballroom just throwing balls around. I mean, Please Sponsor Us are just flailing around trying to find an opportunity to get something done. Full fear on the Cubs. He gets tremored by Businessman, now into the silence. Maybe they get the Shamanistic Rage, but that's the incarnation. That's what would be expected. Cubsy pre-bearing the stun, not even getting skinned. Full fear on the Beanslayer, denying the rest of that incarn. Cubsy trying to hot himself back up. Gorecki doing a good job to peel the rest of that incarn. Rubcub still struggling, now down at 57% mana. Beanslayer rotting. Merkmines is rotting. They could easily just fall. Rubcub's popped the Avenging Wrath. He's trying to pick his team back up. Doesn't look like there's any interrupts. He actually gets Shadow Fury onto the entire team, and Gorecki is just melting everyone at the moment. Merkmine's just trying to heal. We see healing touches and flash of lights from Merkmines and Beanslayers doing everything to keep themselves alive as Rubcub sits through this clone chain. Full Horrify over onto Cubsy. Seems like Businessman X is going to be the target. He doesn't have Shawn Rage for 20 more seconds. This could be an opening. Cubsy sitting through that full Hodge, but now into the full fear. We really need to see a Tremor Totem. Doesn't look like they have the Tremor Totem, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Cloud9 are just going to eradicate Please Sponsor Us if they keep wanting to play this matchup.
Yep, I mean, Please Sponsor Us. They definitely have their backs up against a wall at this point. They're going to have to figure something out to be able to go up against the #1 seeded team in the tournament, Cloud9's LSD. Then it seems like Cloud9 always has this LSD available to him, as well as a number of other compositions, in that difference, that change, the ability to have those type of different compositions available to them is really the edge that they needed to continue to be this competitive. But we're going to be jumping into game number 3 right here, and I'm interested to see if we have a crazy all-in strat coming out from Please Sponsor Us. I mean, I think it's time to get Sam I Am's Warlock dusted off, and it's time to get Rubcub on his Shaman. And I'd love to see like an FLS.
He's gonna play Paladin. He may as well go Ret. He'd be doing about as much healing against that. I don't know. It's like, even they're trying to line of sight the Dark Souls, find moments to burst, but if they're playing that slow, staggered style, that's exactly what the LSD wants. They're not pressured at all, right. And it's just, I don't know. It's not going to work. I'm not sure if maybe they practiced it and it was working out for them, but this doesn't look like it works.
Right. Shout out to my good friend Drakaso, who earlier on today subscribed to us, and I actually said I hope his dog is found, and it turns out his dog has been found, so feels good, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your sub, and I'm really glad that your dog made it home, man. Good work.
I don't know. I think they could get like a free win if they can play for Luck Shaman. So.
All right, they're
as
gonna
long
be.
as they know it's LSD.
They're discussing some stuff right now. So here we go. We're gonna figure out. Maybe they're gonna change up their strat. Maybe we're gonna see something interesting coming out from these guys.
I mean,
Feels
Merkman
dog,
also
man.
plays the enhancement shaman. What can they do with an enhancement
Dude,
shaman?
he's actually a very good enhancement shaman. Maybe like an LSD 3.0 or something. I don't
I
think
was thinking something really strange. I was actually thinking like
Feral
disc.
Feral enhance.
And they Feral enhance, yeah, Feral enhance disc.
Oh baby. Maybe.
Seems
dude.
really weird. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it just
I mean,
seems
with the
really
purges in the incarnation damage, it'd be really hard for a druid to heal through that. But I feel like you just go incarnation himself. You go tree of life. I don't know. These teams, I feel like Please Sponsor Us needs to bring something crazy out. They need to think outside of the box, or they're just gonna lose to Cloud9. I mean, lucky for them, they are in that upper bracket. So if they lose to Cloud9 here, they will still have another shot. But I mean, they lose to Cloud9 and dip down and face Tempo Storm, which is no easy team as well. You know what I mean? So we're gonna find out.
I mean, they eliminated Tempo Storm earlier, so
Right.
still, I think they'd be feeling okay jumping down there if they have to. But I'm not sure like what their game plan is really. I mean, it's obvious like line of sight to Dark Souls, try and push in. It looks like Wealthy Man is their main target, but I don't know. I mean, if they're gonna do that and turtle all day, they should just turtle all day, like the whole entire time. Never, and maybe dampening randomly get a kill through cooldowns and try and win like that if they really want to drag it out.
Right.
Because playing early like they are and just going out in the open, they just melt. It's actually like it's literally like watching ice cream in a bucket out on the highway in the sun.
What the?
Like dissolving.
All right, they're gonna bring the matchup to. It looks like we're going to Ruins of Orderon. I'll see you guys in one hot minute. Oh yeah. All right, welcome to Ruins of Orderon. Looks like Please Sponsor Us is sticking with the same composition, that Feral, Priest, Holy Paladin, but they did bring it to Ruins of Orderon, thinking that maybe a smaller map like this might make Cloud9 a bit more vulnerable. But I don't know. Here we go. This is going to be a hard one for Please Sponsor Us to get through. I think that the defensive wall that Cloud9 has for this LSD is going to be a tough one for them to get through. But all right,
I'm just gonna say it. R.I.P. Rub Cub. Like,
R.I.P. Rubcub.
It's going to be rough. We can see Greki already just free casting full rows of dots. Now soul swapping around. Looks like they are going for the YOLO on the Cubsy. They land the full stun, but Beanslayer's getting punished so hard for that aggressive push in. He's forced to run away, and Cubsy doesn't even need to skin the Horrify used by Merkmines. This initial assault from Please Sponsor Us really not getting anything done. Offensive bop overlapped with the trinket from Beanslayer, just making some little mistakes here. Merkmine's getting chunked down to half HP, trying to line of sight. Now Beanslayer getting teed off on. It could be his last survival instincts here. Getting very dangerously low. Drain Soul being channeled. Rubcub trying to heal through without using the Avenging Wrath. Merkmine's trying to throw out some power word shields and help out Rubcub as well. Curious to see who they go on here. Full bash on the Cubsy. Looks like they are going to go after Cubsy again, but still not even Bark skinning.
Yeah, Horrify goes out on a Cubsy at this point. He's taking a whole bunch of damage in cat form, but look at Rubcub Merkmines taking so much damage on the back foot. Cubsy's still holding on to that bark skin at this point. I mean, there was no incarnation used for Beanslayer. Maybe he's holding on to it for that, but this onslaught that's coming out from Please Sponsor Us is just being laughed at in the face of Cubsy's bear form. Rub Cub's having a hell of a time healing through this spread pressure. Wealthy Man taking a bit of damage as well, still holding on to that Shamanistic Rage regardless. The interrupt on Beanslayer's Cyclone is going to let Wealthy Man continue to get lots of heals from Cubsy, and please sponsor us. They're going to go ahead and pull back with a whole bunch of dots on themselves. Triple Shadow Fury coming out from Goreki with that Demon Soul up. Hex is going to land on the Rub Cubs. He's going to get dispelled out of that. Save with the Light procking onto Merkmines through it all. Cloud9's onslaught of pressure on every single target, and please sponsor us. Must be a hell of a time to heal through for Rub Cub. Rub Cub trying to keep his team up, trying to keep him aggressive. Full Hodge lands on the Kubzi. They are going to force the Shamanistic Rage with that Devouring Plague into a silence onto Wealthy Man. Cubsy put into the full fear is going to be his Nature's Swiftness onto Wealthy Man, keeping him all the way up and healthy. And then can please sponsor us come back from this deficit? Look at all of their health bars.
They really are going to have a hard time dealing with this, I think, as long as Goreki can keep his momentum. Triple Shadow Fury, Rub Cub forced to bubble, Beanslayer getting punished down at 40%, trying desperately to connect to his target. They have to make something happen here. Goreki actually getting locked out on that Haunt, going to be pausing his damage a little bit. Bit of pressure here onto Wealthy Man. Cubsy sitting through that full Hodge, now into the full fear, Bash to cover the Tremor, forcing the Trinket Tremor out from Businessman, but now you'll have Shaman Rage to deal with the pressure. Rub Cub forced to Avenging Wrath. The Avenging Wrath is even still not enough. Survival Instincts is forced out from Beanslayer as he gets Life Grip back to the pillar. Now trying to run out, looking for a clone here. Maybe just trying to bait some interrupts for his team potentially. Double Shadow Fear onto Merkmines and Rub Cubs. Goreki looking for a full fear now onto Rub Cub. Merkmines actually mass dispelling that. Good awareness, removing that CC off of Rub Cub, but his mana is just running out. I think his time is running out, and it's just like, this is the most painful death I've ever seen.
It's such a painful death. Here's the Horrify going out on a Cubsy. Wealthy Man still has that Shamanistic Rage available to him. Cubsy now put into the full Hodge. Wealthy Man still holding on to that Shamanistic Rage as Devouring Plague connects onto him. Cubsy now put into a half fear, and the Shamanistic Rage finally is going to be forced out by Wealthy Man, but maybe it was a little too late. Maybe Please Sponsor Us can get it going, but the double Shadow Fury from Goreki is going to stop a lot of that momentum on Please Sponsor Us, giving Cubsy just enough time to top Wealthy Man off completely. And now everyone on Please Sponsor Us is pushed back once again, over and over and over again. They just can't seem to find their break, their momentum against Cloud9's LSD. Beanslayer taking a whole bunch of pressure as Haunts connects onto him. Is going to go ahead and use his Feral Wall. Hodge goes out on the Cubsy. Wealthy Man without Shamanistic Rage for 20 more seconds. This might be the trinket for Cubsy. Fear goes out on the Cubsy outside of the Hodge. Wealthy Man using his Healing Stream totems as well. But look at Cloud9's damage, just forcing Please Sponsor Us completely defensive. Rub Cub without a bubble at 10% health here. Drain Soul goes out, and he's trying to heal through it with that Avenging Wrath out of line of sight, but the rest of his team's also taking a whole bunch of damage as well. Is the Avenging Wrath going to be enough to keep his team alive? And it looks like he's going to stabilize for now, but for how much longer can Rub Cub do this?
Yeah, Heart of the Wild up from Cubsy, trying to hold on to that Shaman Rage. Iron Bark has now been used, trying to reduce some damage onto Wealthy Man. Please Sponsor Us finding a bit of momentum here onto Wealthy Man, locking him out on that Healing Surge, now cloning up at low HP. Merkmines, though, surprisingly enough, is out of mana. I'm not sure how much that's going to affect him here. Rub Cub, though, is the one who's actually going to be in trouble with no mana and barely any cooldowns. Wealthy Man in a bit of trouble, kind of playing it greedy. I mean, greed is the only way I think that they're going to lose this. Down at 20, he gets locked out, forces Shamanistic Rage at 17%. Cubsy trying to NS him, Rub Cub getting feared up. He will survive with that Shamanistic Rage, but now using the Shaman Rage before the Incarn, there's a bit of a window. As long as Rub Cub can stay alive here, maybe they can make something happen. Cubsy still has his trinket, though. He should be able to deal with it, I would think here. Beanslayer getting bashed up. There's the sounds on the Cubsy. They're looking to try and end it. Triple Shadow Fury out from Goreki, though, just denying it. Merkmines is forced to disperse. Rub Cub's forced to bubble. Beanslayer's getting CC'd on his Incarnation. He's trying to connect onto Wealthy Man. There's no cooldowns for 4 more seconds. Full fear onto Cubsy. Tremor comes out. Wealthy Man clinging onto life, but even still with the Incarnation pressure, it's not enough. And Merkmine surely is going to go down with no dispersion. Lava Burst following up, even through the pillar, he goes down. And Please Sponsor Us are just going to get annihilated 3-0. Cloud9 are just melting them like a nuclear explosion of radiation acid.
Yeah, I think that would be what it's actually an avalanche of radiation acid, because Cloud9 just seems unstoppable at this point as they go and they lock in their position in the semifinals of the tournament, I believe. And whoa, there it is. We're going to be jumping into the next match of this upper bracket very, very shortly, guys. Cloud9 taking a 3-0 victory there in the semifinals, and Method Black versus Donut are going to face off against each other here up next. Please Sponsor Us is going to drop down to that lower bracket to face Method Orange And Method Orange, of course, is Venruki, Mez, and Born Good. And that's all going to happen tomorrow, everybody, right here at GCD TV. But the last game of the night, the last series of the night,